What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Beneath the Hood. We are finally back once again. I know I always say that, but my name is AC Johnny, and as always, I'm joined by Mr. Bubba himself. Bubba, how is it going?
I mean, I say this every time, but it's been too long. It's funny because we kind of play the same games, and obviously we love AC and stuff, but kind of we're both busy people that have full-time jobs, and he's 2 hours ahead of me, so like we never really do anything besides the podcast. So it's always nice to see Johnny for the podcast.
Yeah,
but
we haven't even we've barely even caught up, Bubs. How have you been?
Yeah,
How's
things
life?
are great. Just plugging away. I'm working from home, so I get to sit in my little gaming office. I do a lot of video meetings every day with clients of mine, and I blur the background, but every now and then, my rainbow rings will like peek through. I had a Spider-Man. I'll show it to you. I have a Spider-Man helmet.
Yeah, let me see.
And I had to move it up top, so then because like it was back here.
Wait, that's so cool.
And it recognizes it as like a face, and so I'd be like in a meeting, and then Spider-Man would like come through the blur effect. And like,
where'd you get
this?
This
is from Comic-Con. So this is actually. So the one that actually would peer through most often is this black one. So this is for a cosplay. Some Bubba background here. I cosplay as Spider-Man, or at least I have before. So this is my faceplate. The eyes are magnetic and they pop out. And so this would go over my face. Whoa. And then so I put on the mask part, and then I smack the eyes over the fabric, and then it looks like that. This though, it is a helmet. It's like magnetic. It's so you can technically wear it. I don't. I just got this so then I can have Spider-Man's head at my desk because I've got Iron Man.
It's cool.
Somewhere.
I've seen the Iron Man. I forget where it is.
I made
there
that
it is.
one.
There it is.
But this one's cool because it's 100% 3D printed. It's not painted. So this is like finished, like it's like primed, painted, detailed, everything.
Yeah.
But this is 100% 3D print, and so I was like, 3D printing's come a long way since I was doing that. And so I was like, that's so cool. Like, it's totally a finished, perfect product. They got the colors, like, exact, and it looks really cool. So, anyways, there's my Spider-Man setup.
It does look really
got
cool.
Both of them here.
That's amazing. I got to get me some stuff. I have, like, my cabinet in the back there, but there's nothing that cool.
I like your hexagon lights.
Whatever.
Though. I've always liked those.
Oh, my hexagon lights. Yes. Oh, and...
Did you get a NeoPixel?
Have I ever shown you this? No, my brother got me this for Christmas like 2 years ago. It's I forget. It's some like I forget the company, but let me. Power on. It might be really loud.
Yo, it's a NeoPixel one, dude. That's so sick.
Isn't it so cool?
And it's got the smooth swing effect on there.
Oh yeah, and so you just ignite it by like twisting.
That is so cool. So I have wanted one of those for years, and every Comic-Con I get this close to buying one. But they always upcharge
Black
them. At
Friday.
Comic-Con, it's never cheaper; it's more expensive.
My brother said he got it like 50% off on Black Friday. So, and check it out. I have like
a rainbow mode? Yo!
Wait. Watch how it lights up. It's so cool.
It like stacks. Okay, I'm so jealous. You gotta have it on just like at all times. I wish that they made them so then you could like plug them in. Maybe you can. Then like hang it on a wall so it's not like burning through the battery.
Yeah, I mean, I can. It's just so bright that the whole room would turn red. But anyway, yeah, that's my cool. That's my favorite little trinket I have. But the lights, my sweet, wonderful, supportive girlfriend and I made those together like years ago.
Wait, you like made them?
Like, oh yeah, we made it. It's just like these cutout. The brown ones are these little wood, wood, and then these are foam that we cut out just with a box cutter, and then the neon lights we strung on the back.
Because they sell like actual hexagon ones that are so expensive, so that's like a way better option.
Yeah, it was fun, and I can program it and stuff. The lights we put on the back are all programmable, so that's fun. So yeah, I have some trinkets myself, but I wish I could work from home. I didn't realize you work in that office.
Yeah. This is I kind of share it with my wife. She never uses her half, but I've got like two L-shaped desks that are like back to back, and so I've got like her PC over there. But again, she just plays Sims 4. and she never uses it.
You need all that power.
But
big graphics card for that. Is that what's your cat's name again?
Can you see my cat? Oh yeah, he's right here.
Yeah. Hi, kitty.
And then I've got Ming Ming somewhere.
Ming Ming.
Yep, Ming Ming and Chewy.
Yeah.
He's taking a nap right here. That's funny. He's usually outside.
Does he always hang out on your desk?
He does at night. He likes to be outside. My other cat though is definitely inside here all the time. Like when I'm working, she's my little buddy. So.
Oh, that's so nice. I have a fish tank on my desk. You can't see it, but it's like right off camera right here. Yeah, Fish. That's my fish. That's her name. I named it Fish. Anyway, so yes, guys, we live real busy ass lives. We just do this purely for fun.
Yep.
So we're gonna do our darndest. I really do want to get back to regular, posting. I know I've been saying that, and I'm not gonna make any promises. However, we're going to try.
Well,
so we're going to make an effort.
Shout out right now to AC Johnny because he has been the one editing all of the podcasts and all of the clips that you see on TikTok and all this. I just show up and hang out with Johnny, and then he does all the work.
It's all I need.
So
it's all I need. This is I love this. Actually, I had another idea for somewhat of a project that would be a lot more fun, I think, that I wanted to ask you for this podcast if we could do it. And I was thinking, so I've been playing a lot of like random ass games. I've been playing like I just beat Diablo, and I'm gonna play Bloodborne for the first time coming up for like Halloween. I'm all in. I'm very excited. But when that's done and like my queue is all cleared out, I truly want to do at least like the first few games of Assassin's Creed, like maybe just the Ezio trilogy. I want to do AC1, the 3 Ezio games, and then AC3 at the very least. I want to go back and play through them all, pretty soon, probably in December. And if you would, we could do it together, and we could review them and update our thoughts on them on the podcast. I think it'd be really fun,
dude. Of course, I'm down. Yeah, I think it'd be fun, like a fun live stream series.
Yes,
and then have it be all like recorded on YouTube for people that are not from the States and they're in crazy time zones.
Yes, absolutely. So that might be coming up soon. I would love to coordinate that. We could play the same ones at the same time and like give a date to try and finish each game by. Whatever. We'll see how that works out. But just an idea. But anyway, guys, yes, we've got things going. We're trying to keep things rolling here. But to keep things rolling, we have kind of missed a lot of news here. So this is going to be kind of a big current events pod. So there's been a lot happening in the world of Assassin's Creed. There's been, we can start with firstly, the Assassin's Creed Mirage DLC. I believe it's called Valley of Memory. Now, I was lucky enough to receive some assets of this DLC. I got a lot of early gameplay, screenshots, like some little storyboard stuff, which was really cool, some trailers, and I can talk about it all now. It's all out there, and it's all well past the embargo date. So it was cool. I have a few initial thoughts about it, but I wanted to hear your thoughts first, Bubba, on just the concept of a Mirage DLC and how like to me it's completely random. They've never gone back in time and like put out a DLC for an older game before. So I just wanted to hear, like, what do you think?
Well, to me it shows a lot of really good signs, because it's showing that they care about their prior games and the audiences that still play them. Really, if you look at other games that have been doing that, so I will use as an example Cyberpunk and The Witcher. So CD Projekt Red really does a good job of, like, a decade after, and Bethesda, a decade after these games come out, they're still releasing content, even after when they're like, hey guys, this is the last one. And then they'll throw some little thing in there after, because they're thinking about you and they want to kind of, and a lot of the time these things are free. And so it's not going to increase sales. It's not going to increase but it's going to increase player count, but that's not going to increase sales. But it just brings you back to the game. Like Assassin's Creed Mirage, I have not picked up since I finished it. I loved it though. I totally loved it. I will return back to it. I'm kind of one of those players that Johnny's not like this for Assassin's Creed, but I am, where like I'll finish a game and then I specifically will not come back to it until a long time after, when I'm like primed and ready to redo it. So really, the longer that it takes me to complete that game, the longer I'll wait. So like Red Dead Redemption 2, I finished back in 2020. I was a few years late to the game, and I'm just now, 5 years later, replaying that game because it took over 100 hours for me to beat that game, and I immersed myself. I did nothing but play Red Dead for so many months. And The Witcher 3, same thing, like every 5 years. Like I think I've done 3 playthroughs now. So not quite every 5 years, but roughly. That's like over 100 hours for me to beat. So, and Odyssey and Origins kind of similar. So Valhalla, I still haven't gone back. It's I will.
Might be 20 years on that one. Yeah, I know.
Yep, I did go back to play the DLCs though. I didn't play the Norse, like the crazy.
God, I love that one.
Whatever God's one, but I did play the one that you wanted me to play, the Ireland one and the French one, But anyway, so to me, it's a good sign because it's showing that Ubisoft is not just shilling, just there for the money and greedy, because they've really had that rap given to them for a long time, where it's like they just care about the money and the microtransactions and the skins and the extra XP boosts, blah blah blah. But for them to drop a free DLC, is it free? Am I mistaken?
Free. It is free on all platforms. It's free.
Like, that speaks volumes. They're not going to make more money off this. There aren't going to people. There's no one that's going to be like, oh, now I'm going to buy Assassin's Creed Mirage because of this DLC. No, it's purely because they this is a passion project and they want to do it for their fan base, and that is a big deal for a game company to do in 2025.
Yeah. No, I completely agree, and that was kind of I was really like, I had to like read it twice. I thought it was like a lie. Like, I'm ready for either a new like trilogy, a new main protagonist, a new like either like Black Flag remake, like a Hex or anything. And I'm hearing like we're getting a Mirage deal. I was so surprised when I heard that, just because like this was a game that it was a side project. The game itself was a DLC for Valhalla, and then they come back and they're like, we're going to finally, 2 years after, we're going to put out a DLC for this game that's 12 hours long. I adore Mirage. I absolutely love it. It is one of my, it was the first AC that had come out since I started making content for it. So it was really fun for me to like be there and post about it and make content for it and play it at release. Like that was a pretty special thing for me. So maybe that as well is why it was such a like fun time for me. And I've unlike Bubba, like I play that freaking game all the time to hit my clips and stuff like that, but I haven't played many like story missions or side missions. So I'm really excited. And so the things we do know about it, we're getting a whole story about, and I don't know. I don't know if it's 10 hours. I don't know if it's 3 hours. I don't know. I'd be shocked if it's longer than the main game, which on its own is like 12 to 15 hours. So I'm imagining we're going to get like a 7-hour expansion. That would be my guess. And so what we do know is it's about him like reconnecting with his long. Oh, that was my lightsaber. So sorry. It's about me. It's about him reconnecting with like his long lost father, which is, okay. Like I'm fine with that. I always thought a Mirage DLC. I thought about this forever. I think number one on my list, I wanted it to be when he meets Sigurd. I think that would have been amazing. I thought maybe it would show some modern day stuff. It looks like it's none of that. It looks like it's not connecting to any other game. It looks like it's not connecting to modern day. And I don't remember if this is true, so somebody fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to take place before the end of Mirage. So it's supposed to take place before he like leaves, like turns into Loki fully. Like he's still Basim during this DLC, to my knowledge. So, but to your point about like it being a good sign, I totally agree. And this isn't the first mark of them like going back on some of their more frowned upon practices. And like, for example, the first instance of it, I'd say 2024 was a really big pivotal point for this company because of all the bad press they were getting and the underperforming games they were putting out, like Frontiers of Pandora, and namely Star Wars Outlaws was the one where they were like, pause everything, like we're falling apart. That's when you have these new like kind of practices come along, like delays to Shadows. And even more importantly with Shadows, the decision to move away from like a battle pass, a paid battle pass, and like a season. Hi, Ming Ming. And like the decision to like move toward more of these like consumer friendly practices. Like there are battle passes in Shadows, but they're completely free. And this wouldn't have happened 7-8 years ago with Ubisoft. So I agree with you. I think it is really a step in the right direction.
Play devil's advocate here for half a second. I will say I'm a little confused at why they're picking the story that they're picking. I agree with you. I think it would have made way more sense if they dove into a little post Loki Basm combination, and especially like the adventures that him and Sigurd supposedly go on before ever going back up north is insane.
Yeah.
And like they travel all over the Mediterranean. Like, don't they go to Africa?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
yes.
What? Like, dude, now's your chance to get in, like, a really cool African DLC. We've never been to Africa.
Ooh,
we've been to the continent, in Egypt, but...
Well, that's what I was going to say. You could have even done a cooler tie-in where you, like, go see Bayek's tomb or something sick. Like, I don't know. There are some different paths they could have taken.
Yeah. And so, like... that makes a lot more sense. And again, it further connects these games. That's a huge problem right now with Assassin's Creed for the diehard fans, is that none of these games are being connected to one another. They've done the bare minimum to connect them, and then Shadows comes along. With Mirage, they took out the modern day, and I understand why. With Shadows, to not have the modern day was a blunder. I will say I have not played the DLC. Is it pretty modern day heavy?
Not a shred.
Wait, what? Okay, I'm gonna get on you're gonna get me on a tangent here, but this is a big issue. Of they're not connecting their games, and they need to be. That is one thing that was magical about the old games, and so I was hoping, a DLC for Mirage. Yeah, tell the story of him connecting with Sigurd and going on these crazy adventures. It would be such a fun DLC because you have the game engine and the gameplay of Mirage, one of the best gameplay games in my opinion of this whole series. Like, oh yeah, I'm totally down for that.
I'm in.
However, is this DLC not what I said before? It's not them thinking about us. It's not them going back into an old project and giving it some love. It's simply content that was already 80% done, that was cut from the original game because the story dragged on too long, and now they're adding it in the form of a free DLC, and that's why it takes place in the middle of the main story.
Well, talking about this, I did just remember, I never read this officially anywhere, but I've seen a lot of comments on TikTok that, and again, everybody take this to, with a grain of salt. This is just off of TikTok comments, but I've seen a lot of them, that this DLC was paid for by, like, Saudi Arabia. And, like, that they are just trying to kind of share their culture in their region. So I don't know if that's entirely true, but that would make sense as to why they chose the story they did and the location they did, and, like, just to kind of show a new region in the Middle East and do it through the form of Assassin's Creed, like that what that does is kind of fill in a lot of these cracks of, like, why would Ubisoft do this? Why is this the story they would pick? Why is this the location they would pick? Why would they do it in Mirage? Like, that kind of does, and it's free, like, it's already paid for. Like, I actually let me look this up, because before I keep talking about it, I want to make sure that it's true. But I think for Mirage DLC. I totally forgot that this happened. Reports indicate that Saudi Arabia is funding a new free DLC for Assassin's Creed Mirage, reportedly through its Savvy Games Group and Public Investment Fund. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely more the Assassin's Creed Ubisoft MO.
Yes, it is.
I mean, any good business. This is a business. Why would any business do something just for the love of the fans and they just do it for free? It doesn't make sense.
Well, you'd hope they would, but also they still are. This is, like, they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to get this team together to work on an old engine, mind you, I think. I don't believe Shadows is on the same Valhalla engine. So we're on an old engine, and we're on an old game with an old team, with old voice actors. This is work. They have to now go do work. So, like, they didn't have to do this. They're probably getting a lot of money from it. Great. But they also could have charged us for this, and they didn't. So I don't think it's entirely, I still think what we've said throughout the beginning of this podcast is mostly true. I think that this fills in a lot of those kind of question marks we had, but I still do think it is a step in the right direction, giving out free content. And it does tie into the stuff I said about Shadows, with free battle passes, with free expansions, with all this free stuff. I do believe Ubisoft is trending in the right direction. Kind of as an apology, and more of, not an apology, that was the wrong word, more as a response to the negative attention they've been receiving.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think for the longevity of their company, yes, they need to do more stuff like this. But, I think it's not, I don't know. And maybe it's just me being a hardcore fan, but them not connecting these games together with any kind of cohesive story
sucks.
Is going to hurt the franchise more than it's going to hurt the individual game. The individual games stand on their own 2 feet. I think Shadows and Mirage stand on their own 2 feet. Mirage really does not tie into Valhalla. Like, if you did not play Valhalla, you are not missing anything. Nothing at all. This is a different Basim compared to the one in Valhalla. And there's no mention of Eivor, there's no cut forward in time, there's no William Miles speaking to you in the animate, nothing. And so this is a standalone game, might as well be, and there's a tiny little bit of Easter egg at the very end, just mental connections with, oh yeah, in Mirage, yeah, that's right, he's Loki in Mirage, in Valhalla. And this is where it happens, okay, cool, but there's no true connection there.
To me,
same with Shadows.
Sorry. Well, I think to me it kind of has a similar relationship with Valhalla that Rogue does to AC3 for me. I'm not a big Rogue guy, but I think the most important thing that Rogue does is it makes AC3 about 8 times better, in my opinion. I think when you see all that, and it's like, wow, and it has a similar relationship to me, where you see where Basim's comes from, and you see how he gets kind of corrupted, and you see, like, when the best scene in Valhalla, when they're around the fire and you hear Basim talk about his past, and you're like, wait, this guy was like a real person. And now the story does, like, definitely connect the dots a little bit, but you're not wrong. This they all do stand on their own 2 feet, and it's completely on purpose, which this is where I kind of want to move into the next topic of, like, the company itself, and, like, where I'm kind of disappointed is the complete and utter lack of communication, which I know we've talked about on this podcast before, about, like, Ubisoft Forward, I think it was called, was 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, when they initially announced Shadows and Hex and all that other stuff. 3 years ago. Like, a lot's changed since then. They've been, I think, officially bought by Tencent, and they're moving into this new group is, like, now leading the charge on Assassin's Creed. And this was the other thing we wanted to talk about. The like, head of the Assassin's Creed franchise has left ever since this merger or whatever. I have it here. It says, Cote stated that Ubisoft decided to transfer the leadership of the Assassin's Creed franchise to someone closer to its new organizational structure, and that the role offered to him at Vantage Studios, owned by Tencent, did not carry the same scope, mandate, or continuity as his previous position. So there's a lot of change happening in the franchise and like behind the scenes stuff. And I think it's leading to a lot of these decisions where you're saying like, all right, let's not connect Mirage to these games. Let's not connect Shadows to modern day. I think they're taking as few risks as possible. They're trying to make as much money as possible and capitalize on, you know, any random who's like, that game looks cool, I'm going to buy it. And I don't have to know anything about the rest of the series. I think that's a on purpose thing that they're trying to capitalize on now while they're struggling. And I hope that somebody in there is like, okay, now that we're back, like now that Shadows was a huge hit monetarily, and like, can we start making Assassin's Creed games again? Can we like make a franchise again? I hope that exists because we are sorely missing it at this point.
Yeah, I am a little worried for the future just because of that. I mean, they make it seem like, yeah, we just needed someone closer to the organization, blah, blah, blah. He was just simply laid off. He was just simply let go because they needed Tencent, they needed their own guy in charge. They didn't want an old hat in charge. They wanted a new hat in charge. This is corporate 101. Happens all the time in every business where it's like, hey, nothing against you. You've done a great job these past 16 years, but we just want our own guy doing it. We don't want you doing it because you're not our guy. You're the old hat. And so happens all the time. And so I think it's frankly as simple as that. I wouldn't go as far as, unless it's been confirmed elsewhere and I don't know, to say that he walked out or that he was, fired because of disagreements.
Well, all this says is that he basically declined the role offered to him, meaning that Vantage Studios came to him was probably like, hey, you can like still be the head of Assassin's Creed, but you can't like make any real decisions. And so he was like, I'm good. So yeah, they basically laid him off without laying him off. They made him like kind of retire. But so like you said, Bubba wasn't making that number up. He had been the guy, the head of the franchise for whatever that means. I don't know if that's creative head or what, but he'd been the head of the franchise since the beginning. So he has seen it through the original games with a super cohesive story, through the RPGs, and now to this point where they get more hate than they do love, I'd say, from the casual gamer. Like online, that's all you see is like, oh, Assassin's Creed money grab. That's all I see, at least. It's like another Madden. It's another game they put out every year. It's these like games that don't have any love to them, and which I, of course, disagree with. But like, this guy has been there through it all, and now to this point where they're at, I don't know. Would you say the franchise has hit a low? Like, I think it's funny to say because I love the most recent games they've put out, but like culturally, I think it's hit a new like unity point. Does that make sense?
Because culturally, yes, I think that it has hit a low. Gameplay wise, we are at the top tier peak level gameplay that we've ever had. 100%. Like that's, anyone that says otherwise, you're wrong. The gameplay of Shadows and Mirage is out of this world, and Valhalla before that, and Odyssey, they are improving time and again with every installment. They're not backstepping, which is great. I'm so happy. But it's coming at a huge cost, and they are gaining this casual fan base, and they're losing their hardcore fan base, their original fan base. And it's not because of things like stealth mechanics. It's not because of Hidden Blade or Assassin. Is the guy an assassin or is he a Viking? It's actually not about that at all. It's purely about, does this franchise feel like it cares about the people that have invested into it? And so like people like you and I that really care about the lore and the story and the characters and this universe. What a cool universe they have built. And, they're kind of throwing it away. They're pretending like a lot of it doesn't exist. We're seeing a similar thing with Star Wars. Star Wars has really taken, or I will say 10 years ago, they really took a left turn with Kathleen Kennedy taking over and, choosing to do
I don't want to hear. Don't give me any Force Awakens hate. That's like that's one of my favorite
not Force
movies
Awakens.
Of all time.
Last Jedi. Last Jedi I don't even care for that much, but it's the freaking Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, the third one's the worst.
Pissed me off.
We agree on that.
Bringing Palpatine back was the worst thing you could have. Anyways, That's a whole
they're
other
doing
podcast.
that. They are metaphorically like shitting on in a similar way. In a similar way, it's not a bad comparison at all. Where you like, oh, modern day, like we don't really. Yeah,
and they tease you. They tease you just like Star Wars are like, oh, here's Luke. Oh, but Luke's not the same Luke that you remember. And even the actor who played Luke really hates this version of Luke. And, now you've got with Desmond and Layla and like, they give you little Easter eggs. They give you hope of like, whoa, Desmond, he's the reader. And he's like in the world tree and like, whoa, this is so much deeper than I thought. And Loki and whoa, they're really cooking here. What's going to happen next? What happens next on Woody's Roundup? And what happens next, Dad? Nothing. They canceled it, right? It's like that nothing has happened since then. And the difference, though, is that we have a decaying franchise with the lore and the fan base that has invested into this. But now let's compare that to God of War. God of War, they have the original games and they have the new games. They have the original OG audience, and they did not lose that audience when they built the new game. Why? Because they made callbacks and they have characters and weapons and lore and conversations that the past still exists so much, but it only exists within Kratos. And within you, as the fan, you know what happened. And Kratos knows what happened, but nobody else knows what the hell happened. And there's little tidbits like, whoa, there's his weapons. Whoa, they name drop this guy. Whoa, the eternal fire. I don't know. I'm not huge into God of War, but they really, it's like they scratch that itch of like, yes, I feel like that this is an evolved version of this character where the past still exists. And I know it and he knows it, but this is a new realm that we're going into. And for new fans like myself, because I did not play the old ones, it makes me intrigued where I know what's going on right now. I know about Atreus and about Zeus, or about Odin and Thor. Like, I get that storyline and they're cooking. But every now and then there's like a little tidbit where I'm like, what are they talking about? And rather than me being like, what? I'm so out of the loop. It's curiosity of like, whoa, this goes deeper than I thought. And I'm Googling stuff now. What is this scene talking about? Who's this character they talked about? What is the significance of these weapons? And I'm like, whoa, there's this whole background and there's this whole lore that I'm unaware of that if I want to, I can just Google it, or I can go back and play the old games, or I can talk to somebody who played them and they can answer my questions. However much you want to get involved in the old stuff, you can do so. And it exists, but you don't have to appreciate what exists now. That's what Assassin's Creed needs to do. And it's not what they're doing. They're deleting the stuff that had happened. They're moving on. They're ghosting us, essentially, saying, like, not even like, oh, yeah, it doesn't exist. They're just moving on. And we're sitting here in anticipation, like, what's happening next? Nothing. Nothing's happening next. And it's depressing, frankly.
It is depressing. And that's such a cool comparison you made. As someone who's never played God of War, even I remember E3 2015 or 2016 when he comes out of the shadows, right? And I was like, holy balls, that's Kratos. Like, Kratos, that's Kratos. And I'd never played the games. And I was like, why does Kratos have a beard? And why is he now like a Viking? I was like, is this a total like reboot weird thing? Like, that could have been the move to Norse mythology could have been moving to pre-Hidden Blade times, pre-Assassin times, like Greek Odyssey. That could have been Odyssey. That level of pivot into an RPG, not about assassins, like, that's the same level of shift. They just did it with the correct amount of care that would allow the fan base to still be attached to it. Whereas what Odyssey did, which I'd say is the most divisive game, more than Valhalla, more than Unity, more than any of them, Either people freaking love it or they freaking hate it. And the people who freaking hate it felt wronged. The people who hate Assassin's Creed Odyssey hate it because Ubisoft, to them, didn't take the time and care to make sure that they were still on board. They said, we're no more Hidden Blades. We're barely going to put any hoods in the games. There's no Assassins. There's no Templars. There's a ton of Isu stuff, but like, that's it. Because what Odyssey came off as to a hardcore fan was marketing. And I think that is exactly how every game, besides Mirage, has come off to those same fans. I think and this is honestly the biggest problem, they are treating it as a history simulator with some Assassin's Creed mixed in, versus when you're in Venice and Rome and whatever, it's Assassin's Creed first, just taking place in those time periods.
Yeah.
The Greek Assassin's Creed game, there is so much more Greek stuff than Isu stuff. Alexios, Cassandra's whole story is about the Greek politics. All the side missions are Greek stuff, Greek stuff, Greek stuff. There's the lovely superpowers and Isu stuff in there, which I appreciate. And then I think Valhalla is marketed in a very, very similar way. Everything is Viking first. I am in the absolute diehard camp that Valhalla is truthfully, like story-wise, a true masterpiece. I don't think they marketed to the correct fans to appreciate that masterpiece. Let me explain and go on my little tangent here because it's true. You have that marketing I just said, Viking game, grabbed the casual audience, not the hardcore audience. You then get into this Viking game, which has a really, really, really cool story about this Isu sage who, yes, isn't an assassin, but that's not the point. He goes into his own personal dreams, which are treated like the Animus, which like is such a cool way to do it, to relive his past or Odin's past, who is in him, which is the same way that Desmond would go into an ancestors of his past. So it's this like really cool Assassin's Creed story that gets brushed under the rug and totally forgotten about because they didn't market it to the people who would appreciate it. I don't know if am I making sense? Because
they marketed it towards casuals, but then the actual guts of it was not for casuals.
Bingo. And I think that this is their problem. But it's not a mistake. It is their problem, and it's also on purpose. Because when you put out Shadows, that's not a surprise to anybody. Shadows is Japan first. I'd say like 90% of the game's Japan, 10% is Assassin's Creed.
Even what's in the FX has nothing to do.
Correct.
I'll never be okay with that.
I won't either.
It's just Japanese crap.
It's Japanese. Okay, I'm now respectful to our wonderful Japanese
No. I don't
viewers.
mean it like that. I mean like.
But it is Japanese.
What was in
crap.
the box was Japanese crap. It wasn't Isu
Japanese
crap. You know,
we wanted Assassin Isu crap, and I think that's their problem. They are. It is so clear in the games up until I think Unity starts to blur the lines. I think Rogue and Black Flag even, yes, Black Flag's a pirate game, but it's also super Templar Assassins, which is amazing. Unity is pretty much French first, I would say. It's French Revolution with Assassin's Creed mixed in. And I truly think that's actually the beginning of the shift to where we ended up now, where they started marketing these games as time periods to... I mean, it worked on me. That is exactly how I got into Assassin's Creed. I loved the French Revolution as like a 15-year-old. I was fascinated by it. I saw a game that took place in it, and I said, great, let me start there. That is exactly how they got me into the franchise, and that's their plan. That's what they're trying to do. So it's not by mistake that this problem is happening. It's just a shame because it leads to where we are now, where these are history simulators within the Assassin's Creed world. It's Japan in Assassin's Creed as opposed to Assassin's Creed in Japan.
Well, and here's the thing. They are going to run out of runway. If you are making games that are purely based off of the marketing around the coolness of the history and the time period, there's only so much. The past 4 main RPG games, they hit the biggest jackpot of all jackpot, coolest time histories in the world of all history. Ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, Vikings, and samurai.
It's like the big 4. Yeah.
And the only fifth one, in my opinion, is freaking Pirates, which they already did. The only last one that's a semi
Wild
in my
West
opinion, is Cowboys. Exactly.
Yes, correct. That's it.
And so
that's and maybe
probably get
like a world war. I think that's literally the end of it. I do. I think you could squeeze out a banger, like marketing wise. It's so easy to market. You just said the big four. You did. You nailed it. It's Egyptians, Greek, Viking, samurai. That's it. And then maybe Cowboys, Pirates. Like these are like Halloween costumes. Like this is like the easiest. It's the easiest thing to market, and you hit the nail on the head, which is why Mirage flipped the script. You have this
like
thing
Baghdad?
that's it's not
Baghdad?
easy to market. Right.
Right? Like,
it's not easy to market at all. So it was made for hardcore fans, but it grabbed the casual fans, right? Because the hardcore fans were already put off. They already said, "Oh, forget this." When it really is Assassin's Creed first, Mirage was.
yes, it is.
And so
I agree.
it absolutely is. And you're missing that like easy to market thing, and that's why it turned out to be a game that was kind of made with a lot of love in a lot of ways.
Well, and looking at this next game, in my opinion, the Salem Witch Trials are not. That is not a big, cool, like, ooh, I want to play a game in the Salem Witch Trials in Germany. What? Like, no. That is not one of the top ones that I would go to. But also, if you look back in the old games, I'd say that's true. Constantinople, that's a little bit more obscure. Revolutionary United States, revolutionary period. Cool, but not a main one that you'd go to. And then they did it twice. And then they did it again for French.
They did do it
one
twice.
In France.
But,
so
okay,
it's like
but
very pivotal times. But as far as like the most marketable thing in the world, no.
I think my Boston bias must be coming out because like American Revolution to me that's like as big
100%.
as the rest of them, but
but not Halloween costume level of history.
However, I think Renaissance Italy falls into the easy to market category. I think that's one of those time periods. I think it's definitely in the middle, but it's definitely easier than like Constantinople or Baghdad or I don't know. I think French Revolution, industrial England, I think those fall into the easier side of things as well. It's just not as in your face as this is an Egypt game.
It's not in your face, yeah. England is not in your face. Even France. I mean, France, I don't feel like it was that in your face.
No.
They did really work hard on the history aspect of it, which, in my opinion, it was the history aspect that they focused on. It was not the setting that they focused on.
Correct.
Whereas if you compare that to the Viking and the an Odyssey and Egypt, they're really not focusing on the history. They're focusing on the setting. But the French and and Unity and in Syndicate, no, they were all about the history. They've got Alexander Graham Bell in there, and they've got they got this really cool history type stuff in there they really focused on. So it feels like an Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion, first in both of those games. Actually,
I definitely agree with that. I think you're hitting the nail on the head. And to comment on the Hex stuff, it's funny. I'm a big Fortnite head, right? So we have a Simpsons season coming up. And I saw a comment, it was the top comment, and this is how I feel about Hex. It said, "This is either going to be the greatest thing ever or total buns." And I think that sums up what Hex is going to be perfectly. I think it could be, I think in a lot of ways, hitting one of these not easy to market like themes will be good for the franchise. I think it'll allow
Germany. I'm shocked that they did that.
It's random because what that shows to me is somebody somewhere. This happened. This is a fact. Somebody on a big long table in a Ubisoft tower, like in the cartoons, sat down and they were like, "I have an idea." They pitched said idea, and they must have thought about it well enough that this, like, just the fact alone that it's not like Cowboy Assassin's Creed gives me hope that this was well thought out. You know what I mean? Like, that is true. Somebody had to have pitched this idea of the German witch trials in the Holy Roman Empire as an Assassin's Creed game to a big table of execs.
Well, what have we heard about? kind of know and what they've kind of focused on is that this is going to be a different Assassin's Creed experience. It's going to be darker. It's going to be like, I don't know what else. Darker is kind of the thing we've been given. But okay, interesting. Why are they really focusing on how this game's going to be very different? Probably because the pitch was like, guys, I have this idea, and it's not because it's a super marketable setting. It's because it's a kick-ass idea.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got my fingers crossed. I hope that they can pull it off well.
I think it goes hand in hand because so Hex is not supposed to be one of these massive countrywide RPGs. While we have been shitting on these like easy to market themes, these bigger things, I think that will go hand in hand when you try this RPG formula where you're trying to make it this endlessly giant entire country. You're going to focus on the setting first. I would never hate on these games. I love the RPGs more than the originals. I think they're absolutely magical in the right, like when you play them in the right way. I think it's time to move on. As much as I love them, as much as I loved Shadows, I think if you're going to make this Assassin's Creed first, this like continuous story, this modern day story, you can't do this giant open world anymore. It's probably a main reason why it fell so flat. All the modern day in it and all that stuff is because they were marketing this map, really. And they were marketing this character, this gladiator, this Viking, this samurai. Like that's what they started with. I think it's a wonderful success in the same way that like Rogue One is a wonderful success, where it's like it's in the universe of Assassin's Creed. Like, is Rogue One a Star Wars? Yeah. Is it a Star Wars? Not to me. I don't see a lightsaber. I don't see the Force. I don't see Jedis and Siths. You don't see Templars and Assassins. Like you're not. It is a love letter in a lot of ways to the universe, and I love it. I'm ready to go back to some more focused, purposeful games that they are marketing the story as opposed to marketing the theme.
Well, and I do think that they can juggle it. I think with these giant maps, it is a mistake to force story missions to go to every single place. Like, Shadows dragged on quite a bit, in my opinion. Like,
I agree.
Once you head up to like Oda Nobunaga's like main headquarters, like in that big lake area.
Yep.
I kind of felt like I was approaching the end, but I was not. Oh my gosh, halfway. I was not.
No.
And like I was like maybe a third of the way through, but like story wise, it was like really ramping up, and then it kind of just like, whoa, we're on a whole tangent, and it just kind of kept going and kept going. It's okay to have giant maps. I don't think you need to have the main story take you to every location within the map or every zone within the map, because that's essentially what they did in every single Assassin's Creed except for, I think, Odyssey and Origins. Odyssey
Correct.
And Origins, there are like places that you will not go.
That's, yeah. Well, finish your
and
thoughts,
so I think one game that does it really well is The Witcher. Shout out Geralt behind me. If you only do the story missions, you will not go. You'll go to like technically every map. Like you'll go to Velen and Novigrad and Skellige, but you're not going to go to every little place within it or every major town, frankly. And so there's like, unless you go out and do side stuff, you're not going to explore everything, like to a large extent. I think Red Dead is similar to that as well. And so it kind of forces you to go like, okay, we have this massive map. Let's have the main story go to like these main places, but then let's have some awesome side content that's going to not flesh out the main story, but it's going to flesh out this character. Valhalla almost did it. Valhalla has too much forced stuff. If you think, I remember doing all the kingdom, I call them the kingdom missions, because you have to do like, go up to this kingdom and help them and then come back. And then go, and that's like a whole thing, multi-hour, multi-quest stuff. And then do it again and again and again and again. I did it like 6 or 7 times, and I remember getting to the last one. I was like, yes, this is the last one. And I remember I was kind of glad that I didn't do every location because I wanted to explore. I get back to base, and they're like, without showing you everything, and then you have to do everything. They showed you like 7, and then they showed you 3 more after completing those 7. They're like, bop, bop, bop. Oh, yeah, you have 3 more of those before you can finish the game. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? I want to be done with this game. I'm 70 hours in.
Yeah.
This is like, I don't want to do more kingdom missions. So I like speed ran those. And it's kind of a shame because one of them was actually a lot of fun. The one with the lord of the place that was sacrificed and the big Burning Man statue.
Yeah.
I loved that storyline. And like
it's so
the
good.
guy who used to be in your clan, like essentially retired and went and found like a lover and like is hanging out in that. And it's like a murder mystery. Like, dude, what a cool storyline. That was one of my favorites, but I was rushed. I was like, get me out of this. And so I think if they would have just taken out 3 or 4 of those kingdom missions and not made them required, then, because what I thought Valhalla, kind of tangent here, but I thought Valhalla was going into, okay, you have to do these, and then you can choose to do these. If you choose to do them, when you go into the last mission, you're going to have more allies to like back you for the final push against King Harold. Is it King Harold? Is that right?
Alfred.
Henry?
Alfred.
What's it? Alfred. King Alfred. Like the final push, you're kind of building like the leaders of each of these zones are kind of becoming assassins in a way, just like Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, where you kind of gain these allies, and some of them are assassins and some of them are not. They're like military leaders or they're mercenaries or they're spies, and you're kind of getting this network of people to help you, allies. And so if you do all of them, you will have all of them. But if you only do the required ones, then you're kind of going to only have the bare minimum to finish the main quest, and it's going to be actually more difficult. It did not do that at all. At all. It was all forced, and so they almost had it. So I think they can still keep main missions, main areas big, but they don't need to take us to every little spot. You know,
that's a really good point. I mean, I'd never thought about that. I think that's 100% true. And I just told you I just beat Diablo 4, right? It's my first Diablo game, my first ARPG. Like, I'd never played a game like that. I've been reading, right? When I say finish Diablo 4, I mean the story. The Diablo main story takes you through a third of the map, and then you're at like level 40. And I've read online, like, okay, yeah, like the meme about Diablo is like, once you finish the main story after like 35 hours, that's when the game begins and you can like start actually playing the video game. And it's like, I don't know, I don't necessarily need Assassin's Creed to turn into that, but I think it would have multiple good outcomes, as you've kind of mentioned. You'd have a more concise, purposeful, focused, and well-written story. And then you'd have higher quality side missions. Imagine if that mission you talked about with the burning guy was just a side mission you could play on your own. And then you found, like, you'd be happy to play it. You would be like, oh, this is great. Yeah, it shouldn't be forced. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you're right. I think Ubisoft needs to hire us at this point. I think we could really do some damage over there. I think we'd get them back on their feet, but
I'm kind of hoping that whoever they have in charge now, and with them, I actually didn't know them selling. Is it official that they sold to Tencent or whatever?
It seems like it. Yeah.
Where are they? A U.S. based company?
I can check right now.
I'm kind of out of the loop, I guess. So, but it's an official sale.
I'm not entirely in the loop.
Is it kind of like a parent company, kind of like how when Disney bought out Star Wars, where it's
correct.
like, no, Star Wars is still under Kathleen Kennedy, but it's under then Disney on top
correct.
of that.
So Tencent, I know of Tencent. Okay, Tencent's Chinese.
Aren't they the ones that made Marvel Rivals? I thought that they were that company. Am I wrong?
No. Let's see. Is it Tencent? Clicky keyboard. No, Tencent did not make Marvel Rivals. Okay, NetEase Games made Marvel Rivals. They're a Chinese company.
Oh,
no, but
right.
So it sounds like you have Tencent, which is like your like Kellogg. Like, it's a huge company. And then within Tencent, you have, what did I say? I had it on my phone. I think it was called Vanguard.
Within it, they have Ubisoft, I guess. Oh, yeah. You said that they have like a gaming division.
It is Vantage Studios, a subsidiary of Ubisoft established with Tencent. So,
so they've been partners for a while.
Yeah. There's layers to this. So I think Tencent's the big daddy, and then you have this Vantage Group, gaming group come in, and like you said, they put in their guy. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I know that this probably means change either way. In one direction or another, you have a new guy at the helm for the first time in almost 20 years. Something's going to look different. The other interesting part with all the Hex stuff we mentioned is that was all announced right? That was when everything was still good in Ubisoft world. So I don't know if the game exists. Games get canceled all the time. Doesn't matter how far along they are. I wouldn't be, as we've also mentioned on this podcast before, nothing is real right now. Not a single thing is officially confirmed at this point outside of Hex. But that was 3 years ago, and we haven't heard a word since. So I'm praying that game's still a thing because it sounds really cool. And I can also see a lot of the Assassin's Creed haters kind of latch on to that one in a similar way that people latch on to Rogue. It's different and I like it because it's different. I think it could work. Mm-hmm. I hope it doesn't have magic in it. I think it will. But I don't think that's not...
Kind of just go the route of the witches were Isu, or something. It's pretty simple for them to...
Fine. It is pretty simple, but people wouldn't buy the bullshit. But that is true, though. It is just bullshit. No matter what reason they come up with, it's bullshit. Whether it's Basim is too fast for the Animus to keep up with, is bullshit. I need this company to start making this game because they want to make the game, and not because they were let's make our guy teleport. I love the teleport. I'm not against it. I wish they said he can teleport because he's an Isu, and not, the Animus can't keep up. Kill yourself.
With
That's
Odyssey,
stupid.
It's fine in Odyssey. They gave a reason. Valhalla, really pushing it. Mirage, I was so mad. I was
what
the most
powers
mad.
does Eivor have?
Infinite axes, hello?
Oh. Are we calling that a problem?
He's kind of OP.
Really?
But,
if we're going to go that technical, how the hell does Ezio equip poison on his blades? You don't see it happen, do you?
Maybe they're in the sheath. There's poison in the sheath. They're pre-poisoned.
God. Well, maybe he's got a bunch of fold-up axes. I don't know.
Folding axes. What do they call that in cartoon? They call it cartoon space, or what do they call it?
I know what you're talking about.
They mention it in the Spider-Verse because the pig...
he pulls out a hammer out of his pants. And
yeah, he has something space that they call it, where it's they can just pull anything out, and it's the coolest superpower.
You've always said that shit bugs you, when the spears shrink and stuff like that. You hate that shit.
And it's small though, but I recognize that it's small. But then teleporting, again,
not so
if
small.
They had an actual reason, and if it's it's because Loki, this guy's a sage, and Loki, the connection of Loki is starting to take hold, so he gains this ability that he doesn't know how to explain, but he just uses it to his advantage. And then later on, you realize it's because of Loki. Wonderful. I will buy that all day, but that's not what they said.
Yeah.
And in fact, they said the opposite. They said exactly what Johnny said. It's because he moves so fast that the Animus can't keep up. What Animus? We don't even know if we're in an Animus, because there's no Animus. What are you talking about?
This I have a little tangent of my own. This reminds me of... I'm a big fighting game guy. I love Street Fighter. I love Mortal Kombat. I love Marvel vs. Capcom. So this is a pretty niche reference here, but it's the same idea where I remember it was a Marvel vs. Capcom game was coming out. And if you don't know, it's a fighting game where you have Marvel characters versus Capcom characters. It's very fun. This Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was coming out, and it was coming out without the X-Men in it. And this was a huge problem because the X-Men were basically what made up of Marvel vs. Capcom because they were made in the 90s. And Marvel 90s, it was just X-Men. So now all these hardcore fans are pissed that Magneto's not in the game. One of the devs comes out. His name's Combo Fiend. He was he was one of them. He was a player. He loved these games. And now he's a dev. He comes out and he says, we put Ultron in the game. He does a lot of similar things to Magneto. And then he looked at the audience and he said, you guys shouldn't care. It's a function. We don't care about the characters. You don't care if you're playing Magneto. It's the same character. He does a lot of the same moves. It's just Ultron because it's relevant to pop culture and the MCU and all this stuff. And he got more backlash. And that one quote alone almost buried that game because it's spitting in the face of your fans. Oh, the Animus is, it can't keep up. No, you could have just said, we don't have the rights to the X-Men. You could have just said, it's an Isu ability. We just wanted to put a teleport in the game, but we'll call it an Isu. You could have just said it, but it's that lack of care and thought that pisses people off.
And it probably was just some guy that said it on a whim, because where that comes from is there was, I think it was Game Informer or someone did an early playtest of Mirage, and they did an interview outside the playtest right after to talk about it, and they said somebody on their team, when they asked about it, that is what they were told. And so, we technically don't have it, bar for bar from a Ubisoft employee, but we might as well have. So it's probably some employee that hates that he even said that,
Yeah.
Canonically, I don't know, but that's what it is, and they haven't gone back and said anything different. So, and with Shadows, I think it was, without any of that, it was amazing. We didn't have any of that Isu stuff. We don't need it. We do not need it. The original games did not have it. Unless it was because
you mean
Ezio has the
stuff.
Apple of Eden or something,
yeah,
right?
You mean the superpower stuff, not Isu, the people.
Yeah, superpower stuff. We don't need superpower stuff.
I agree.
These guys might as well already have superpowers. They're peak humans. And the Eagle Vision. The Eagle
Wonderful.
Vision is guys, let's be real, it's a game mechanic to give you an edge when you're doing stealth. But the funny thing is, you can opt not to use it. You don't have to turn on the Eagle Vision, just like the teleport. I didn't use the teleport. And so, but Eagle Vision, they do explain it he's got Isu DNA, and so he has this ability for this Eagle Vision, which they name it different things later on, but okay, I'll buy it. Cool, So anyways, so I am curious to see. I think there's a high possibility that Hex will get axed. However, I do think that Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake will not. I think that there is enough excitement circulating. Nobody's hating on that. Nobody. If anything, people are just kind of like me, and they're why though? But then financially, it's oh, that's why, right? It's it's the most beloved one. Why not the Ezio trilogy? No, this one just makes sense. It's super marketable. It's that number 5 that we just talked about. Pirates is another big one. They're gonna go back and it's beloved on the story level. It's beloved on the gameplay, the setting, all of it. So they're gonna go back and do it again. And we have had talk about that. We have had things confirmed about what is and is not in it, including the modern day. With the whole first-person stuff in Abstergo, think Moses, that they're taking that thing out. And so, cool. They're probably just going to axe the whole modern day entirely, which I'm not too bugged about. This is post-Desmond anyways. But we have heard tidbits here and there recently and throughout the past year. Whereas Hex, not a peep. So I think you're right. I think that could definitely get canceled. Of course, Black Flag, you never know, but if they hung on to Skull and Bones for that long, I think they'll hold on to Black Flag as a truce at the end. So I'm hoping that they don't use assets from Skull and Bones. I'm a little scared about that, but
I'm so torn on this Black Flag thing. Just because I would be all for it if they had put out banger after banger after banger, and there's fitting in Black Flag Remake in this busy schedule. But for Black Flag Remake to be probably the only game that comes out in the next, you'll have Shadows, and then okay, let me put it like this. For Black Flag to potentially be one of 4 Assassin's Creed games, one of 5 Assassin's Creed games that comes out in the 2020s decade, and one of them is a full-blown remake, that doesn't make me too happy. It doesn't. I don't know. It's leaning on fan service and nostalgia a little too much for me, that I think it won't hurt the franchise. It just doesn't do anything for me. I want more new stuff. I can go play Black Flag right now. Black Flag is a really good game today on Steam. A graphical update would be nice. That's all I need. Gameplay's super fun. Gameplay's super good. I think unless they make any drastic changes to ship combat, this is not going to be that big of a overhaul. And I just don't think that's what the franchise needs. That is a huge step backwards in which you are fully like satiating the audience with complete and total lack of progression toward that continuous franchise that we were talking about earlier. I think that's just halting any progress.
Yeah, I think it is, because like if we're not excited about a new thing, we're excited about a returning thing. You know, like when Bethesda dropped Bethesda really, really saved their can with the remaster. You know, it's really a remake, but the Oblivion remaster, shadow dropping it like that same day. Shadow drop, insane. So much hype around that. I did not play I tried playing Oblivion. I did not care for it. Skyrim was my cup of tea. It's still my cup of tea, but I got the Oblivion remake, and it's amazing. They did a great job. But that came at a time where Bethesda was really eating crap. They put so much time and energy into Starfield that flopped so hard, and the player base is completely dead. Even the modders don't want to touch it. And they announced Elder Scrolls 6 7 years ago at E3. What the hell is going on?
E3 is not even a thing anymore, and it's still not.
E3's gone.
E3 died before Elder Scrolls came out.
Dude. And so we're like, what's going on? We have heard nothing. And the past 8 years of events have been, anyways, Elder Scrolls 6, and everyone's like, woo! We're working on it. Now, Fallout 76, we're like, no more Fallout 76. and Starfield as well. And so they were like in a really tight spot. And so now for them to drop this sudden remake of this amazing game, and they did a wonderful job. They did so good, and they only charged $50 for it. What a massive W. Only positive things I heard about that game. That's kind of what Black Flag needs to be, but Bethesda is working on a massive game, hopefully. Elder Scrolls 6. So we at least have that to continue it. This is to tide us over to Elder Scrolls 6. It was needed a few years ago, but what a cool surprise. That's what Black Flag needs to be, where it's like, hey, guys, while we're working on the next Assassin's Creed installment, which is Hex, get excited about it. It's going to be so good. I know we haven't said a lot about it, but guys, we're cooking here. We want to give you the Assassin's Creed 4 remaster. Whoa! That's so sick.
Like Mirage. That's exactly how Mirage served for Shadows. Literally, that's how they put it.
Yeah.
We are working hard on a giant Japanese RPG. Take this to hold you over. If they do that with Black Flag before they release a game, like a mainline game, a new game, I'm okay with it. Then I don't have any problems with it. But if they do it to be like, here's our Assassin's Creed for the next 3 years, I'm going to be pissed, frankly.
Yeah, I am hoping that it isn't what Shadows is going to be right now. They are going to lean into Shadows just as much, if not more, than they did Valhalla.
Yep.
Where they've got DLC after DLC, they're going to milk the F out of this thing, and it's going to make them money. It is going to make them good money, and good for them. They made a great game. They did.
Yep.
And so they're going to keep going on this. They kind of want us to ignore any upcoming projects, probably for the next 2 years.
Yep.
And I'm assuming, I'm really hoping that Black Flag Remake, that they're going to, and if you remember, Mirage was similar. We didn't hear about Mirage for a long time, and then all of a sudden, they had a Ubisoft event, and they were like, boom, here. I think they had an E3 at the time they had dropped out of. And everyone's like, what the hell? Why did they drop out of E3? And they're like, hey, guys, we know we dropped out, but in 2 months, we're going to have a Ubisoft-only event that we're going to showcase Mirage. And we're like, oh, okay. And then they did. But there was a year or two of no contact. We're like, what's going on? And so Ubisoft kind of functions like this. They don't tell you until it's they're ready to tell you, which is, I guess, good.
I don't
Unlike
think so.
GTA, where GTA 6 is what's going on? And yep, we're just going to keep giving you trailers forever,
I don't know what I'd rather. I think you can come to a point where it's too much, but it's also
too little.
Okay, in this unique spot that Ubisoft in, where they said, here are the next 4 projects we're working on. And then we literally haven't heard a single thing.
That had to have been just for investor crap, just to boost their
the Netflix
stocks
show
or something,
and the mobile
they
game
haven't
and
done. half of that.
That's what I mean. So that's bad. So if we're just lying now, I'm not in on that. I don't need
100%.
I don't need 3 years of trailers. I don't need an Elder Scrolls 6 release. I think Shadow's release was pretty good beside if you take out the delays. Right? They had I think in 2022, September of 22, they had the initial now he jumps up on the roof and it's like, we have a Japan Assassin's Creed. That's sick. Of course we'll wait for it. We have Mirage to hold us over. And then in May of 24, so we're talking a year and a half since the initial teaser, they put out the full-blown CG trailer set to release November. I think that is a perfect release cycle from teaser to like down the road to, I think that's good.
2 years, 2 years gap. Yeah, I think that's good.
Right. I think the delays obviously didn't help that, and it turned it into a 2.5 year difference between initial teaser and actual game release. That was 2.5 years, but I think they had it right on Shadows pretty much if you take out the delays. And the delays turned out to be a wonderful thing. That is a great sign moving forward that this company's like caring about what they're putting out. That's a good thing. So I'm not mad at the delays. I think now it's time for me to see a new teaser of the Hex assassin jump up on a rooftop. You know what I mean? Like, we're there now.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get it until
26?
Like spring of next year. Like I think they're really just like, nope, just enjoy Shadows. Don't mind what we're doing over here. You know.
I agree. And I think they've been doing a really good job with Shadows. I know you mentioned you didn't play Claws of Awaji, but even besides Claws of Awaji, they've put out like 4 completely free missions, like story missions where you go and you talk to a new ally and there some are collabs. There's a Dead by Daylight, there's a Critical Role, there's these things, and they're all free, so it doesn't matter. You physically can't hate on these things. You can't, if they give you free content, it's nothing but positive, and they've been doing it, dripping us literally something for free every month. So like, I can't be mad at the way they're handling Shadows. Claws of Awaji, before we go too long on the pod, I want to touch on it really quickly. It was very cool in a lot of ways. For example, it was like 12 hours. So it was a nice, concise.
Which, by the way, that's the length of Assassin's Creed 2,
right?
And Brotherhood and Revelations.
Right. So it actually told a very nice story where you have a tyrant on this island who's like really terrible and scary, and she has these 3 enforcers. And then you go through each enforcer's story arc, and then you get the big guy. That's perfect. And the enforcers, the best part about this DLC by far was the boss fights were amazing. They were the best boss fights in Assassin's Creed by far. There was a stealth boss. There's a stealth boss fight. So you're Naue, and you're hiding in the bushes, and this it's like a creepy lady with this big straw hat and a gun is hiding in this swamp, and she like poisons you, so you're seeing like 10 of her, and you have to actually use the audio to tell which one's real and stuff like that, and you have to sneak up on, like, really good boss fights. It was completely just another like mission in Shadows, though. Like, even the map looks pretty darn similar to the main map. Like, there's not a shred of modern day. There's no lore besides, like, her mom. And her mom story was completely underwhelming. If you want any spoilers, let me know.
That sucks. I think we should do a whole episode on it, likely.
Nice.
I'm glad that I heard your thoughts on it. Because, the modern day thing will never not bug me. But to hear that it wasn't even that great of a story after they ended it. I remember I was mad at the end of Shadows. I was like, what?
Yep.
That's it? Like, that's how you end it? If anything, it should have ended with Yasuke, like, telling that final Templar, like, I am your reckoning, and I am going to be the fall of your stupid organization, and every breath that I have, I will destroy you. And, like, go warn the others. Like, that's, like, freaking end it with a title screen there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, let's go. Give me a DLC where I kill a bunch of Templars. I'm in.
Yeah, it's like, but how hard is it, Ubisoft?
Yeah,
honestly, like, it's not that hard to make a good game. A good story with your games,
Play it when you get the chance, and then we can talk about it on the ep. That sounds good to me. The last thing I will say about it is the new weapon they put in is really cool. As in, like, control-wise, there's more things. There's more buttons. like you can do more with it. So that's really cool. I won't spoil it anywhere past that, but it's really fun. I do recommend you play it, especially because I believe you should have it for free, because you got the game early and everything.
I do have it for free. Yes. I don't even know if I've. Oh yeah, I did get it. I was gonna stream it, and kind of bad news. My capture card that I only got a year ago.
Oh no.
Died on me. Like it's actively like being decayed. I don't know what's going on. It started with just like one game. It was actually Assassin's Creed is what it started with. My screen would cut to black, not in the stream, but in my actual view of like HDMI. It cut to black like every few seconds. Like it would just flicker, and I'm like, what? And it was only that game, and it doesn't matter if I'm streaming or not. It was like always happening on any screen, on any TV. If I use that capture card, but if I just like direct plug in. No problems. So I'm like, well, crap, how do I stream this? And then it leaked into other games. So like Red Dead 2 was doing it and Rivals and everything. I'm like, shoot, it's got to be the capture card. So really bummed about that. I don't know when I'm going to get that fixed, but I do need to play on my own time. See, I haven't streamed in a while. I don't know the next time I will, but I've got to do that DLC. I got to keep playing freaking Death Stranding.
I didn't want to push you on it.
No, I it's not like I've been playing a different story game. I have not been playing a story game, but I've enjoyed when I do. But at the same time, I want to stream that. I do want to stream that, and my stream was like breaking, and it was frustrating.
Yeah, that sucks. Were you enjoying it at least?
No, of course I am. It is hella slow, but I'm okay with that because Red Dead, in my opinion, was pretty slow, and The Witcher.
Yeah.
Like, those are pretty slow games. Obviously, this is not so combat-focused.
Yep.
But, yeah, I'm going to keep going for sure. I've got it downloaded. I downloaded Battlefield 6. I was given that game from a buddy of mine, so I've been playing that.
Nice.
That's a big game, and I was like, what game do I delete? And I'm like, I cannot do Death Stranding. I will not do it. And so I think, I don't know what I deleted, actually, but it was not that. So, yep, I will play that. And yeah, so Clouds of Awaji, it sucks that it wasn't that good. That's the thing, is that I don't want it to be a chore, and I kind of knew it was going to be. And I'm really not a DLC guy. Like, I haven't played the Assassin's Creed 3 DLC. Yep. I've played half of the Unity DLC twice. I can never get through it.
Me neither.
I kind of hate it. I have not played some of the Odyssey DLCs. I know what happens. I've seen all the story about it, but I haven't played them.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of them either.
Valhalla, I've played some of them. I'm just not a big DLC guy, unless it really cooks. Like you said with the Ireland DLC was freaking awesome in Valhalla.
I loved that one.
That was a great one.
Great characters.
Great standalone story.
Yeah, I agree. But this one, is it a chore? Yeah, I can see how you'd think it's a chore.
The last missions of the main game were a chore, which is actually what took me so dang long to finish the game. You did it way faster than I did.
Yeah.
The first half of the game I burned through, and then like the last quarter of the game I struggled with because it was like, just get me through this.
Yeah. But yeah, it's. I was not unhappy going back to it. It's the way I would put it is it's more Shadows. If you enjoyed Shadows, especially with a little bit more of a focused story and like really good boss fights, I think you'll enjoy this.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think it's.
Well, and I've got it, so I got to play it.
Hell yeah, it's already free. So, I think we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here, Bubba. Unless you have any closing remarks. It's getting kind of late on the East Coast here, and I got work.
Nope. Thanks for chatting for so long. Just want to thank everybody who's hanging out here with us. We love you. We're sorry we're not more active, but we love that you guys are here with us whenever we do post. But yeah, drop in the comments what you guys think about kind of what's coming up with Assassin's Creed and the DLC. I want to hear your thoughts. Feel free to put spoilers in the chat. But we appreciate you guys. We really just do this for fun and for the community. I love this community.
Hell yeah.
That's why I've got like my Discord. I'm really not active too much on TikTok anymore, but like my community that I built is active on Discord, and we play games every night. And so that's why I do this stuff, is to hang out with people like Johnny and to see the chats that you guys put in, and it's just so fun. There's such a satisfaction with that. So we love you guys. Let us know what you'd like us to do. Johnny and I are totally down to do more collab type content. Like Johnny, like you with your idea of like playing the original games. I didn't watch the whole thing yet, but I loved your playthrough of Shadows, like the DLC. You were posting the DLC playthrough of that. Like, that's the content that I love, because like especially me working from home, half the time I've got something going on my other monitor, in the background. So
totally,
I'm a sucker for that stuff. But
well, let's make some of that
I do miss
stuff.
our Unity nights that we would do.
Yeah.
Just do tangents.
Yeah, I went live on TikTok this weekend for the first time in like a year. And I had an amazing time. I had such a good time. There were so many people who came in and were like, I can't believe you're live again. We're so back. Yeah. And I just ran around. I did Shadows for a bit, and then I did the big Norse mythology DLC, and I had so much fun. So I'm going to be going live soon again. We should definitely do a Unity stream at one night if you're down. I've never deleted it. I play it all the time, so I'm always around.
Good.
And with that being said, guys, I will echo that. We love you. Thank you so much if you watch this whole thing. It was a ranty one, but I thought it was we got into some good stuff, I feel like. But we love you guys. We will do our best to be as active as we possibly can. But I'm on TikTok, Bubba's on everything, and especially Discord. So go check it out. And we will talk to you guys in the next one. So thanks again. Take care and peace.
Bye.